Good morning and welcome to Victory is Mine with Pastor Andy Stump of Victory Christian Center in Carthage, Missouri. Start your day with the powerful message of hope, faith, and victory in Jesus Christ. Here's Pastor Andy, bringing you encouragement straight from God's Word.
Good morning. We were looking at Romans chapter 5, and Paul's comparing and contrasting the first Adam with the second Adam. He calls Jesus the second Adam in 1 Corinthians 15. He was comparing what Adam did. His one act of disobedience brought all this devastation and destruction and introduced sin and death into the world as a result of his disobedience. And then he compares that with Jesus and his act of obedience, reversing the fall and bringing back in life and righteousness. And so we see from Romans chapter 5, sort of, again, a window into what happened to Adam in the fall. But it wasn't just what happened to Adam in the fall, because Adam was the first man, because he was the template, so to speak. If something happened to the template, say a template of money, then if that mark was in that template, then each bill produced after that still has that same mark. So Adam is the template for humanity. And because sin and death was in him as a result of the fall and his act of disobedience, then each human has that same flaw, that same problem reproduced. And so God had to get rid of that, had to address that in salvation for salvation to be complete, powerful, to the degree that he said he would do it. So now I want to look at some passages that deal with natural man, every human being, as a result, being born into this fallen system, this sin-dominated system, this death-dominated system. We have characteristics. And so Romans chapter 1, verses 21 through 25 says, "For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened." Then he goes on to talk about the actions of sinful man. Now, he does describe the actions, and people tend to gravitate toward that. But what he set this up before he got to the actions was to say that, and he's talking primarily about Gentiles here. We're going to read another passage coming up here in a second. It's not just Gentiles, but he says their thinking became futile. And so that's a problem. Thinking became futile. But then this is also key. Their foolish hearts were darkened. So this is something more than just action going on here. This is a way of thinking, and this is something in the heart of man. Because man's heart was foolish and darkened, this led to the action. This led to although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. This led to therefore God gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity. What precedes the action is the darkened, foolish hearts. Romans chapter 3, verses 9 through 11, Paul says, "What shall we conclude then? Are we any better? Not at all. We have already made the charge that Jews and Gentiles alike are all under sin. As it is written, there is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God." So Paul had listed all the things that the Gentiles or the pagans did, the horrible sinful actions. And then in chapter 2 of Romans, he kind of indicates that, if Jewish people were listening, it's like, yeah, those dirty Gentiles. And Paul says, wait. You knew what was right. You had the laws. You had God's direct commands and desires of how to live, and you didn't keep them. So that actually makes you in a worse spot than them. And so his conclusion is in Romans chapter 3, verses 9 through 11. We are all under sin. We are all alike under sin. And so this salvation that God brings is to reverse a human condition, not a religious condition, not just action, but to reverse what happened in our minds and our thinking that was futile, and in our foolish hearts that were darkened.
Thank you for joining us on Victory is Mine. If you're looking for a church home, we'd love to welcome you to Victory Christian Center in Carthage, Missouri at 13996 Burr Oak Road. Join us this Sunday at 10 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. and experience God's love, power, and victory in your life. You can also learn more about us at vccchurch.org. Have a blessed day.